Welcome to the Member xCite presentation. This is a chance for members to increase their profile amongst the businesses here and online. It's not a sales pitch, but a 10-minute insight into your field, a business innovation, or interesting area of your life. The concept is to provide great content that's helpful or interesting to the audience, and members are welcome to apply to present an xCite across any of our events, as well as our Facebook Lives, reaching audiences of over 10,000, building your brand credibility, and exponentially growing your business.
So Maria Pellicano is a public speaker trainer and communications specialist. And don't we all need to be able to communicate effectively at the moment? She helps people communicate with confidence and influence, another thing that's super important. In her coaching, she uses speaking, voice technique, and mindset strategies to help you deliver and engage both verbally and non-verbally with powerful presence on any platform. And I guess at the moment, particularly when we're all online. So today you're going to share with us 3 things that help you have an engaging voice. So I'm going to hand the floor over to you and really looking forward to hearing you share your wisdom.
So I'm very, I find this a wonderful opportunity to be able to share with you all 3 things. I've condensed it to 3 things because I think it's very important to understand that these 3 things actually impact us, how we speak and how we engage. Not only how we speak, but how we engage. And particularly at the moment, we're having to engage in different ways. So we're not body to body anymore, but it's voice to technology. And sometimes we struggle even with our voices because technology is interfering. And our body movement is a little bit, well, actually quite a lot less now. So our voice tone is becoming very, very important against the interruptions of technology. So I wanted to introduce to you the model that I believe works after 22 years of working with people's voices and helping them present on any platform. And I have found that there are 3 components, and those 3 components are mindset, which affects your persona, which is your personality, voice, which impacts upon the presence, so how you deliver, and the presence you bring to communication. And then message, which is the platform. So the platform can be anywhere. It can be on a stage, it can be on a telephone, it can be at a desk in lots of different ways, on a webinar, just different ways of delivering the message. And I find that I've noticed there's wandering kind of behaviors going on, not knowing what to do, wobbling for me, the voice sort of cracking and indecision in the voice, like this sense of uncertainty, and then a sense of weakness. Often I find people are not projecting well enough, are croaky, or they're monotone, and I'm not understanding the message clearly. So I believe by aligning your mindset, your message, and your voice, you can have deep and meaningful engagement. So I love this quote by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. He says, "The human voice is an organ of the soul." The voice is like our face. We carry our voice everywhere we go. Particularly now, we are depending on our voices more than ever to communicate our message. And without a voice, a good quality voice that's propelled from a great mindset and with a great message, without a great voice, it's very hard to actually communicate and engage. So today I'm going to be talking to you about how we can communicate from those 3 aspects, connecting to the organ of the soul. Now, we know the engaging voice for me, as I mentioned before, it's got these 3 components: the mindset, the voice, and the message. And I believe what really drives the way we engage with others is the way we think, our mindset, the way we feel on the inside that impacts our voice tone, and then ultimately impacts the message and the effectiveness of the message. So in mindset, we have 3 things I have found that help people have a great mindset, and that is that they've got a sense of growth. They're continually growing and moving towards this sense of expansion and possibility, and that every moment is new. and that every moment creates a feedback, some sort of feedback to keep wanting to grow and improve. And that is, I have clients that say to me, I don't like the way I'm speaking. I don't like the tone of my voice. And so to me, I see that that's a growth mindset. That's something that says, I want to be better. I know there's more in me. Or perhaps they'll say to me, my message doesn't seem to be connecting with people. I'm not sure if I'm using the right words. And so this is a growth mindset. The other one's identity, that you know who you are. Like, we really need to be comfortable with ourselves. And a lot of us have got, a shadow side that we try to ignore, or we try to pretend it's not there because it's too hard. And so our identity is not exactly as it should. I feel like I've got a frog in my throat today. All right. Now, the other one's accountability, a sense of feedback, asking for feedback and being in network meetings just like this, BX, just being with other people and getting feedback and knowing how to stretch by asking other people who may be better at different things. So to me, this is a great mindset, the mindset of wanting to be more professional, or to improve, or to check your communication, to get the feedback, to know yourself, to know your personality type. So with my clients, I work on their personality. I try to find out what is it that you're addicted to with yourself. What is limiting you from communicating? What's holding you back? How do you know yourself well enough so then you can communicate with others? Because often, like, for example, self-compassion is one of those. When you don't have enough self-compassion, you're not able to have empathy for others. So when we're speaking, we can sound very unempathetic, like not have any empathy, simply because we don't have that for ourselves. So the mindset's really important. Okay. So here we're going to talk about empathy. I think mindset, most important thing is empathy. And the reason for that is because we feel the way you communicate. We can feel your voice. People can feel if you really care about them. If what you're saying is more about your agenda or their agenda. And even in coaching, it's a lot about really not having an agenda at all. It's actually by having curiosity about where people are at and a level of, I'm here to serve. You can only do that when you have a lot of self-compassion and understand empathy. So Daniel Goleman talks about 3 levels of empathy, and I think it's really important in engagement that we have empathy. So the first one is the ability to understand another person's perspective. And the other one's physically feel what they're feeling. And the other one is a sense of sensing what another one feels. For example, sensing is something like when somebody can't speak. Even my dog, my little beautiful Peppy, when I look at my dog, I can actually feel and sense what he's trying to tell me by looking at his eyes. Or perhaps a baby that can't speak and not exactly be able to produce words, but you can sense what they're going through. So these 3 levels of empathy are good to practice and discover and understand that communication is held together by empathy. And that empathy really comes back to yourself. Like, how much self-empathy have you got? How much self-compassion are you willing to look at yourself first, so then we can reach out to other people with communication. So your customers don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. This is very important. Often I speak to people who are really, they make me feel like it's really what's more important is what they want to tell me rather than what I need to know. And even with my clients, a lot of leaders aren't yet at that level, depending on their culture, aren't yet at that level where they're able to listen enough to hear the needs of their staff, to hear the needs of their customers. They're more concerned about having their needs met. So to me, effective and deep engagement is about reaching out to others in a way that we reach out to them with curiosity and that we are willing to explore different ways of communicating. And that includes voice tone, That includes mannerisms and culture. Sometimes we have to keep learning and growing and changing our rules. I think our rules today more than ever are being challenged on how we're reaching people. I'm now doing leading meditation on Zoom, and that was such a challenge to not have people's bodies in a room and to be able to still gauge how they were feeling and how, you know, all the little nuances of voice and body language just to help me get information. You know, it was really challenging. And now I'm having to listen to things like voice tone and reading people's voice tone to understand how they're feeling. Are we sensitive enough to do that? Are we, you know, in deep rapport? We call that like the ability to really match and mirror and really challenge ourselves to go deeper in reading between the lines. So here's voice. One of those second elements is your voice. And in voice, the way you breathe affects the way you speak. If your breath is down deep in your belly, you're going to speak with a deeper tone. So breathing deeply. Vocal cords, I can really tighten my vocal cords and suddenly get a very stern sound. And this will create a lot of problems. Or I can go really breathy. And over time, this will swell my vocal cords, making me really tired and losing energy. And vowels, you know, really moving your mouth and your tongue and your jaw, really pronouncing your words. A lot of people are speaking with their jaw kind of stuck like this. And it creates a monotone, and it's very hard to really understand you. On top of the technology issues that we're having, you know, sometimes the internet drops out or there's buzzing noises going on. So if you're mumbling and your voice is like this, it even just makes it even more difficult. And again, when I look at things like that, when I look at people's jaws and the way they're speaking and their tongue movement, if they're not moving their mouth enough, my clients, when I don't see them moving their mouth enough, I kind of think, how's your confidence level going? How do you feel about communicating to this person? Are you holding back? Are you resisting in some way? To me, that's a behavior that's locking the voice down, which is locking the soul. And it means the mindset might be restricted, or maybe there's fear there or some sort of sense of holding back. So the mouth and the body is one of the ways we can see if a person feels free and if they feel confident. So as leaders, we need to make sure that we're opening up our mouths, breathing deeply, because deep breath also helps us to feel safer. And as opposed to breathing high in here in your clavicle area, that's very anxious breath and very anxious presence. And then the voice tone, the vocal tone, the tone tells us a lot about how confident you are and how comfortable you are, and also how educated you are. People are, you know, there's research showing that people are paid according to their voice tone. Deeper voices are paid more. Doctors are getting sued in America because of their voice tone. So we know that voice tone is giving us a lot of information, and it's affected by your body posture. So the way you sit, if you're slouching over, your voice is going to slouch over. If you sit up straight, your voice is going to present better. It's going to have more energy and it's going to have more presence. So the only reason to master technique is to be sure that your body doesn't interfere with your soul's free expression. So when we understand how to use our voices and we can control our voice, we're able to control our emotions better. We're able to acknowledge some of those mindsets that are keeping us back and holding us back, and we're able to deliver a more effective message. Okay, now we know just over the phone, we can tell if somebody's confident, if they've got control, if they're friendly. I might not go through all of these today, but all of these points right now, if you can see them, we can tell by the sound of your voice what's going on. We can hear and feel your mindset. You know, by the sound of your voice, we can hear your intelligence. We can see if you're calm, if you're experienced, if you have authority in your subject. So that's where the mindset, the growth mindset, is really, really important, that you want to keep growing and expanding and getting the feedback on the accountability and knowing yourself well enough. And by getting feedback and by confronting, we all need to confront ourselves and find our shadow side, find that side of us that holds us back and limits us. All right, so 10% of the conflict is due to a difference in opinion. 90% is due to the wrong voice tone. So we have a message. This is a third component, and this is important to understand that. For me, I have found that the audience is important. We need to know who our audience is and what their needs are, what's their particular style that they like to have the message delivered in, who you know, what kind of environment do these people come from, what age group are they in. The structure needs to be designed in a way that's structured for their why are they listening to you in the first place. It's all about the audience, your team member and your client. And then the outcome, what kind of outcome are you wanting? What do you want them to feel, know, and do? And then the engagement is, are you aware of the level of engagement you're having? Are you getting feedback on that? Can you improve it? Is there anything you can do to check on how that went? Now, this is really interesting. This is the work of Erin Meyer, the culture map, and she talks about different cultures around the world. And this is one of the aspects I wanted to introduce to you, that a lot of cultures want low context and they want high content. So these are countries like Australia, Germany, Canada, US. They're looking for high content but low context. And that means it's more about the context isn't the environment, and more about words. Whereas you've got countries like Japan, China, Korea that are more focused on low content but want high context. So what they want to do there, they want to read the air. And one of the things here is just to understand that in communication and in our ability to engage with people, it's not always about words. It is about reading the air. The non-verbal aspects of communication are very, very powerful. And in fact, they say up to 90% is non-verbal. We are reading, you know, we're reading your voice tone, your body energy, your facial expressions. And so if you can get a camera on when you're doing your Zoom, or if you can put a camera on when you're speaking, it's going to be way more powerful than just having a voice. You can just use a voice, but having images like facial expressions will help you also. So we know that some cultures, be aware that there's some cultures don't really listen to the words as much as they listen to the way you speak. So that's just another important aspect here. All right, so overall, here are the three components. We have mindset, which is your persona, your personality, your character. Really, who are you? Do you love growing? Do you love to face up to yourself? Do you have opportunities to keep getting feedback and accountability? Are you in network meetings like Just BX? That's fantastic. Just environments where you can be with other people and get feedback. Is your message, right, about your audience? Is it about their experience and how they want you to engage? And your voice, is your voice powerful enough? Are you using it to the max? Are you using it in an intelligent way? Are you aware that voice tone can impact the way people hear you and the perception you're creating? And that comes with your body. Your voice is part of your body language. It's non-verbal. It's not just verbal. It is mostly non-verbal. And the tone will impact the meaning of your words. So it's important that we align our voice and our words. All right, so these are the three components, and I hope that's helped. And so in the work I do, I'm always working with clients, and particularly at the moment with executives of really large companies who are speaking to their team members and aren't aware that emotion and impacts the way they speak, and that behavior and belief systems affects the way you speak. So I work on your purpose, making sure that your purpose is strong, that your why is strong, and then I help you develop the confidence to deliver that, manage anxiety, to be authentic also in what it is that you're saying, so then you can be yourself. And then we look at the body and the voice, like making sure that you've got a free expression in those areas, and that you yourself are comfortable with your voice and your body, and you don't hate the sound of it, and you don't hate looking at yourself. And then we look at delivery, and the delivery is to create a present delivery that relates to your audience, that it's all about their why and their purposes, and that it's all about how they want to hear it, by understanding different personality types and different cultures that people come from, and how to change our words, how to change the way we say things. So these are the three components: mindset, voice, and message, both non-verbal communication and verbal communication. to help you speak with an engaging and deep way that helps you relate to your customers and your team and even your personal relationships. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed that. And this is my book.